Welcome in to another episode of Betting the Pitch. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner. This should be episode number 229. We're going through Europa League and Europa Conference League and going to come out with an ultimate best bet end of show, pick one best bet from each of the leagues, and then get out of here. And hopefully an expedited Wednesday night because I got places to be way sooner than I thought, but don't know when I'll have time to get this out. So let's get into it. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. Also, keep an eye out for the Betting Pitch Podcast Network, which is becoming a network now as we're doing more than just soccer, baseball. We've added an NFL show every Tuesday night with my buddy Andrew Schnicker, and potentially having some college basketball stuff coming out on here sooner rather than later. Stay tuned for that. If you are not following me yet on Twitter, make sure you do that, the real underscore G Warner. If you're not a patron, check out patreon.com, just the real underscore G Warner. Best place to get access to me. You get my leans each night. You get my plays throughout the day as I'm doing write-ups, as I'm putting them in myself. You'll get a notification each time I lock something in. I send it out to all of my patrons. So check that out. Patreon.com, just the real underscore G Warner. All lines going to this podcast are courtesy of betonline.ag, my favorite place to get my bets down early. Reduced juices offered on almost every game you want to bet right up until game time. Please follow the link found in the podcast description to fund your account and use the promo code GW50 to receive a 50% match bonus up to $1,000. So once you have a little bit of extra money in your account, use that promo code GW50. I think we both get credit for it. I don't know exactly what I get, but I think we're still negotiating that. But you get a bonus in your account and more of the casino's money to use as we potentially try to get rich all at the same time. I guess I'll start where the money is, at least where more of the money is in this competition, or these two competitions, and that is certainly in the Europa League. And as luck would have it, I'm struggling to find where that all is. But of course, we will get there right now. So UEFA Europa League, we have some 12:45 starts and then a big wave at 2 p.m. here or 3 p.m. Eastern time. But all afternoon stuff, all matinee. So we'll start with Freiburg hosting West Ham. Two big clubs, one from Germany, one from England. West Ham, the defending champions of the UEFA Conference League, which got them an automatic bid despite fighting relegation last year. I don't know how much people care about that, so I'll probably leave last year's history because it doesn't really matter to, I guess, the other narrative creators, which we'll get into this. Sorry, I'm seeing my cell phone is not charging, and if it doesn't charge, I'm going to be in big trouble. But anyway, so let's start with Sport Club Freiburg. So currently a pick'em, juice is split both ways. Over under is 2 3/4, and it's just a little bit to under. I'm going to pick and choose what matches to go through because some of these teams, especially when we get to the Conference League, I've barely even heard of and can't tell you what country they're in. In terms of where this number has moved, there's been a lot of money coming in on the under, which has broken it off of 3 down to 2 3/4. My biggest interest is under in that one. Freiburg have not really shown that they could score goals this year at any sort of efficient clip. West Ham have, but I feel like they are not the side or the team to do that too frequently. So my expectation is a low scoring match. Two teams that are fighting, both want 3 points. I think both would probably settle for a draw, knowing that Freiburg are off to a 3-point start. Will win on the road at Olympiacos in Piraeus, Athens, and West Ham, I think, have enough confidence from their performances so far in the Premier League. So my expectation with this one is that this should be low scoring. I still like under 2 3/4 is bigger than I made it. I'm not really sure that European play will turn into cup play where everyone's fighting for 3 points. I think there's going to be some defensive strategy here, or at least some acceptance of trying to play defensively from two defensive clubs. So I like under 2 3/4 in that one. Next we have Baka Topola, one goal underdog to Olympiacos. Over under is 2 3/4. Juice a little bit to over, a little bit more juice on the home team. Olympiacos have a lot to prove. AEK Athens then hosts Ajax in a bit of a surprise number for me. AEK Athens, who have really built themselves with a lot of older players across the Bundesliga and other big European leagues. They are a quarter goal favorite to Ajax, which the fall of Ajax continues. Over under is 3, juice to the under. More juice on Athens at this point. I was kind of hoping to get Athens potentially as an underdog at home. That clearly did not happen. And so my only interest really here is into Ajax, but I'm a little bit off of where they've been. They were an easy fade last season in the Champions League, but are now in the Europa League and still are not performing very well across really any sort of space right now. So I'm gonna have to do a lot more digging than certainly on this podcast as we speak. Marseille then hosts Brighton, another big battle of teams. I don't know why everyone's playing in the early window, but Marseille currently a quarter goal underdog at home with all the juice. Over under is 3, juice the over. Brighton have dealt with a big injury scare with Pervis Estupiñán, who I think is going to be out for a few months. Had a really poor performance this weekend against Aston Villa on the road, and then also had lost at Chelsea midweek in the cup. So things have been really bad for Brighton lately. Big concerns about them balancing multiple competitions. They're playing every midweek now. Well, I guess they're out of the cup, so that won't be happening too often until the FA Cup starts again. But this is going to be a big test for a Brighton club that are still, I think, the Derby really hasn't done a lot of European stuff besides maybe with Shakhtar Donetsk after he left Sassuolo. So a lot of questions on that side. Then you get to Marseille, who have brought in Gennaro Gattuso, the former Valencia manager, who was there for only a little while, got in like a big argument with their sports staff or ownership or whatever it was. It got him kind of a quick heave-ho while they were not having a good season last year. Formerly at Napoli, couldn't win the big Scudetto that they finally got once he got out of there, but ultimately, I believe in him. They're certainly going to know each other, Gattuso and De Zerbi, from their time in Serie A. I don't really think that Brighton, besides being in the Premier League and Marseille's struggles this season, as one of their managers stepped down after ultras threatened violence of some sort, which welcome to French Ligue 1 football. But from where I'm sitting, the Stade Orange Velodrome is going to be a huge spot. Brighton are used to playing in big English venues, but this is going to be, I think, a big statement for Marseille to show that they are here in this competition. Champions League didn't work out for them last season. Qualifying for Champions League didn't work out in the playoffs this season. But I think it's a big spot for Marseille to catch a Brighton side that really, to me, don't deserve to be favored right now. It's very juiced at the moment, so I'm going to make sure I watch that and don't lose a Marseille move to pick them. But Marseille getting a quarter of a goal is my interest right there. Aris Limassol then hosts Rangers, half a goal underdog at home. Over under is 2 3/4. Juice a little bit to under and juice to the home dog. I don't have much more to say about that. Rangers a good win in the opener against Real Betis, who are the next matchup, hosting Sparta Prague. Real Betis a 3/4 goal favorite with more of the juice. Over under is 2 3/4, juice to over. I wish I knew a little bit more about Sparta Prague coming into the season to have a little bit more trust. Rakov Czeskowa. We'll see if I pronounce that right. The host Sturm Graz, currently a pick'em. Home team Rakov. They are pick'em with all the juice. Over under is 2.5, juice to under. I'm kind of surprised to see Rakov Czeskowa even being favored at pick'em right here. They were very lucky, it seems, to get into the competition. and so I feel like Sturm Graz, who I don't have a ton of respect or faith or really even knowledge about this season, I would have expected them to be a bigger underdog looking for them to become a bigger underdog, but I don't have that just yet. Sporting Lisboa then hosts Atalanta, coming off a goalless draw with Juventus. Sporting Lisboa or Sporting Lisbon, a big club in Portugal, and La Liga Portugal is one that I definitely respect. Currently Sporting a quarter goal favorite at home, a little bit more of the juice. Over under is 2 3/4, juice very heavily to under, which is a little bit surprising because Atalanta are not an under team. They're going to play aggressively. Gasperini and their manager is a all front-footed, go forward type of style. I don't know necessarily how well that's going to play in this competition, in this event, in this match, because Portugal has a good league and they're going to have to go on the road and are a slight underdog, basically saying that Atalanta are about even with Sporting Lisboa, which is probably not a ridiculous statement to make. I thought that Atalanta might be closer to favored here. So I'm leaning that way at the moment. But kind of hoping it's not going to make it onto my card. Roma then hosts Servette Geneve, I believe from Geneva in Switzerland. Currently Roma a 2-goal favorite, coming off a performance against or the last match of Serie A against Frosinone. So they got to play a newly promoted. That was good for them. And ultimately Mourinho is doing his things about saying how important he is to the team and such. Roma 2-goal favorite. Over under is 3, juice to the over. Not a lot for me to want to get involved in here, though. Roma certainly are on my list of teams that I want to see and have to make sure that they're going to improve. Hacken then hosts quarterback, currently a pick 'em with almost all the juice on Hacken at home. Over under 2 3/4, juice to under. We'll move on next to Liverpool hosting Saint-Gilloise, Union Saint-Gilloise, that is from Belgium. Currently Liverpool a 2-goal favorite, all the juice or almost all of it on Union Saint-Gilloise on the road. Over under is 3.5, juice heavily to under. Liverpool, I mean, what a crazy performance this weekend with 2 red cards, and also a goal that was ruled out that for offside that was not offside, which is brutal for the Reds. Unfortunate for them, but new competition here, and I imagine that will motivate them a little bit more. But Union Saint-Gilloise, they had sold Boniface to Bayer Leverkusen, who've been playing so well this season, and really had a great run last season in Europe. So I believe in them. I don't necessarily, I mean, they got picked apart. A lot of their even defenders were bought and went to other bigger clubs. So it really depends on what Union Saint-Gilloise still have at their disposal. I got to do a lot of transfer market research just to see kind of what squad value we're looking at, especially compared to last year and kind of what they sold off. It feels like a rebuilding year. It seems like that with a 2-goal underdog on the road at Anfield. I mean, things can get ugly there. I don't know that I want to play under here because Liverpool are not an under team at all. They're more over than anything. And I just don't know that I have enough faith, though. The two goals of insurance, 2 insurance goals are certainly tempting me right now in Union Saint-Gilloise. Last, I guess not last, we got still 5 or so more to go. We'll go next to Maccabi Haifa hosting Panathinaikos from Greece. Israel versus Greece. Currently Haifa, a 1/4 goal favorite at home. All the juice on Panathinaikos, and over under is 2.5, juiced heavily to under. Might fall to 2.25. Don't have a lot more to say. Molde then hosts Bayer Leverkusen. Molde 1.25 goal underdog at home. Over under is 3.25. Juice to over. All the juice on Leverkusen right now potentially going to climb to 1.5. I imagine that will happen just based on the success Leverkusen have had this season. Currently top of the Bundesliga. Still a big ask for them to go to Norway and take a big win, especially with Bundesliga concerns for this weekend. But I'm interested to watch it, to say the least. Slavia Prague then hosts Sheriff Tiraspol. Currently, Slavia Prague a 1.25 goal favorite at home with almost all the juice. Over unders 2 3/4, juiced heavily to over. Sheriff, it's been a while since they've been in Champions League, and that's the last time I paid attention to them. Toulouse then hosts Lask Linz. Currently, Toulouse a 1/2 goal favorite at home. All the juice. Over unders 2 3/4, juiced a little bit to under. Toulouse with a good performance this weekend. Ultimately, were how do I say this? I mean, the Liga market was totally against them betting Mets as like all weekend down to a 1/4 goal, then I think closed a 1/2 goal favorite, and then Toulouse won 3-0. So they played well. Were kind of under the cosh for a while at the beginning of the match, but ended up turning around, playing better towards the end of the first half, and then kind of sailed to victory. I think from where I am with Toulouse, I'm looking to bet against them. I don't think Lask Linz are the team to do that with. And last but not least, Villarreal hosts Rennes. Currently Villarreal a 1/2 goal favorite at home with the over under at 2 3/4, juice to under. All the juice on Rennes right now as a 1/2 goal underdog. So I imagine that'll potentially fall to a 1/4 goal, but I really like it. I think Rennes are a young team, but have sold off a lot of the young pieces and kind of got older this season. I think it'll be better for them going on the road. Villarreal, a team I want to be against as much as I can. Don't see a reason not to be here. Yes, playing at home will help. But I think that they need to get a new manager. They're 3rd of the season. They only have gotten 2 so far, or had 2 so far, making lineups. So until that happens, I'm looking to be against Villarreal. And I think Rennes have done a lot to shore up their woes on the road moving forward. So for my best bet for the Europa League, which will then come back towards the end of the show in the ultimate best bet, I'm going to go with Rennes plus 1/2 goal on the road at Villarreal. Next, we'll move to the Conference League. It might even be more brief than what I'm reporting right now. Astana hosts Victoria Plzen. That's an early match. Currently, Astana a 1/4 goal underdog at home. Over under is 2 3/4, juiced over. Victoria Plzen is a much bigger club and should win this match, I would expect, but you never know with home field. Next, we'll move to Key hosting Lille from Liga. Currently, Key a 1.5 goal underdog at home. Over under is 3, juiced to over. Lille, a 1.5 goal favorite on the road, is saying something, but they played pretty well on the road also this weekend after a weird Tuesday match midweek in Liga as well. So potentially we're going to see Lille rotate a fair amount, but we also may not. They're clearly a better side based on this goal spread right here as a 1.5 goal favorite on the road. It's gigantic. I can't imagine what it'll be when they're at home. But Lille are a scary team to go against if you're not at the same type of level. Olympia Ljubljana, I believe from Slovenia. They're hosting Slovan Bratislava. Currently, looks like it's going to move to a pick'em right now. Slovan Bratislava, very juiced quarter of a goal underdog on the road. Over-unders 2 3/4, juiced to under. I think Slovan Bratislava has been in a lot of these competitions and have been around with some staying power. I'm curious to see how they perform, though, against a club I haven't really seen before. Breidablik, speaking of clubs I've never seen before, then hosts Zorya Lugansk. Currently, Zorya on the road is a quarter goal favorite. All the juice on the home team. Over under is 3, juice to over. Next, they'll move to Ghent hosting Maccabi Tel Aviv. Currently, Ghent a half a goal favorite. Juice to split both ways. Over under is 2 3/4. Juice to under. Long trip for Maccabi Tel Aviv from Israel to Belgium. But I gotta say, I'm not that in touch with the Israeli league. Would assume Ghent in Belgium would be better at home, but only half goal favorites doesn't say too much. Balkani then hosts Dinamo Zagreb from Croatia. Currently, Balkani a 3/4 goal underdog at home. A little more juice on the road team. Over under is 2 3/4. Juice to over. Dinamo Zagreb should probably be one of the clubs that we look to potentially get through in the group stage. But until then, I don't know that I'm getting involved here. Besiktas then hosts Lugano, big Turkish club with a 1 1/4 goal favorite at home. Juice is potentially climbing to 1.5. Over under is 3. Juice to over. And Besiktas should, unfortunately, I've been pretty disappointed by Turkey in their performances in Europe. And I need to see some stuff from Besiktas to trust them, or Besiktas. Bodo Glimt then hosts Club Brugge, currently a pick'em, a little more juice on the home team right now. Over under is 3, juice to over. Bodo Glimt have good history, also had Boniface before they sold him to Union Saint-Gilloise. Club Brugge have a pretty strong team, and I'm looking for them to potentially climb to a quarter goal underdog. I don't know that it'll happen. I kind of doubt it, but that's something I'm currently looking at in that early 12:45 Eastern time kickoff window. Next, we'll move to the later games. We have Aberdeen hosting Helsinki. HJK are currently Aberdeen a half a goal favorite at home with all the juice. Over unders 2 3/4, juice to under. Aston Villa then hosts Zrinski Mostar. Villa coming off a throttling destruction of Brighton probably puts them in a weird position here to then have to go back and do it again against a much smaller club in the same venue, but at least they're at home in England. So Aston Villa 2.5 goal favorite right now. All the juice in the road team. Over under 3 1/4, juice to over. I don't think I'm going to get in the way of the Aston Villa home wagon. It feels like if you're familiar with 2023 Twitter terms or being cool on the internet. AZ Alkmaar then hosts Legia Warsaw. Currently AZ a 1 goal favorite at home. All the juice on the road team. Over under is 3, juiced all the way to under. AZ are a team that I'm expecting to do something in this competition. They got some money bet on them right before the competition kicked off. We'll see what happens there, but I lean nowhere really on that one. Fiorentina then hosts Ferencvaros. Currently Fiorentina 1.5 goal, or excuse me, 1 1/4 goal favorite at home. A little more juice in the road team. Over under is 3, juiced heavily to under. Ferencvaros, they to me are a very competitive Budapest, Hungary squad. Fiorentina, I've always got questions about how many goals they're going to score, how they perform against smaller clubs. And I'm just not really a believer, despite how far they went in the competition, making the Conference League final last year. A little disappointed to be back in it again this year, but they're in a tough country, of course. Kukuriki then hosts Genk. Currently, Kukuriki a 1 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Over under is 3. A little bit more juice on the under, but barely. Nordsjælland then hosts Ludogorets. Currently, Nordsjælland a 3/4 goal favorite at home. Over under is 2 3/4, juice to over, and Ludogorets on the road are getting a little bit of juice. I'm interested to see this Nordsjælland team because they brought back Marcus Ingvartsen from the Bundesliga and ultimately are kind of popping up in this competition as one of those teams I'm eager to watch. Pretty big favorites, 3/4 goals. Certainly saying they're better than Ludogorets, but Ludogorets has been in a lot of these competitions over the years. 2 more to go. PAOK host from Greece, I believe, hosts or Cyprus, one of those two, similar, I guess. They host Eintracht Frankfurt, currently a pick'em. All the juice on Frankfurt on the road. Over under is 2.5, juice to under. Frankfurt have not been scoring at all. They've been defending pretty well. New managers come in. They sold Randal Colomani to Paris, to PSG, and there went the offense. I'm not necessarily a believer that's going to change anytime soon. But I got to say, I think Eintracht Frankfurt unders just in general are something I'm looking at moving forward. And last but not least, Spartak Trnava hosts Fenerbahce from Turkey. Currently, Spartak a 1.25 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Over under is 3, juice to under. Fenerbahce have got a good squad for sure. Should be better than this team they're playing, as the line indicates, but we'll see what really that looks like in terms of how that's actually going to represent itself on the pitch, because unfortunately it's a big deal to see when you go on the road in these competitions and new places to see how you perform. So ultimate best bet time is coming up. I'll give you my best bet pick from the Conference League. I'm going to go with that under 2.5 in PAOK, the Eintracht Frankfurt match, just kind of following that road that Frankfurt games and matches are not seeing many goals. So if you're on YouTube, please hit subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. I will read it if I see it. And I will see it eventually because I check in from time to time. Also, if you are, stay tuned for the ultimate best bet as that's coming. If you are not a member of BetOnline or sportsbetting.ag, check out the links in the podcast description below, because they will be worth it for you to get some extra bonuses and potentially, I don't know, get some free money from a casino that wants you to bet with them. Having extra outs is not a bad idea. And if you're also not a member of my Patreon, become a patron. Check out patreon.com/real_G_Warner. Get all my stuff as I'm doing it each night, give you an idea of what I'm going to. And then each day, as I see lineups and things of that nature, you'll see what I'm actually thinking in real time. So it's time for the ultimate best bet. This is the real_G_Warner on Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. This is Betting the Pitch number 229. And this is the ultimate best bet portion of the show. We focus on Europa League and Europa Conference League today. In Europa League, our best bet is Stade Rennais or Rennes, a 0.5 goal underdog on the road at Villarreal. And for the Europa Conference League, we're going under 2.5 in PAOK hosting Eintracht Frankfurt. And for the ultimate best bet on this episode, I'm going to go with Stade Rennais, a 0.5 goal underdog on the road at Villarreal. I think they can go get a result. I think they can go win at Villarreal. The yellow submarine, the big stadium that got put in, this giant yellow thing in the Valencian community, just doesn't really have a good team in it. Their managers, they've already sacked one. Next one that came in is a retread from lower levels of Spain. I feel like they spent all the money on the construction of the building and not really on the team, as that's been falling out of players, and ultimately the management, which is not a good place. So take Stade Rennais plus 1/2 goal for ultimate best bet on this episode. And that'll do it for this episode of Betting the Pitch. It was quick, but probably should be this way for these type of events going forward. Hopefully some of you care. If you do, slide us some DMs, tell me that you're happy I'm doing this. That would be awesome to hear. But 22 minutes, probably the fastest episode possible. We'll be back on Thursday or Friday. Probably I'll do a baseball pod for the next round of for the divisional round of the MLB playoffs, plus of course the Friday podcast coming out for the weekend's soccer affairs. That's it. Have a good one. Talk to you all soon.